Welcome to the upseenlife.com. I'm your founder and editor Vishal Krishna. Today I'm with Altaf Ganihar, the founder of Snaptrude. He's a young boy from Hubli who has dreamed big. He wants to change the real estate industry with his democratized and collaborative software. It's called Snaptrude. It can enable you to collaborate faster, better on designs. This is for interior designers, builders and architects. Check out this interview, and we also have with him Bobby Reddy, who's his angel investor. Altaf, Bobby, thanks for being on the Upstream Live. How are you?
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure always. We should catch up again. Party soon with you for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, I've been tracking you for the last 5 years. You know, Snaptrude's done so well. Talk about the early days, right? Talk about when you met Bobby. We'll get there. But how did this idea come about of changing the way builders design or architects design? How did that come about?
Yeah, thank you so much first of all for inviting. It's an absolute pleasure, and like we've been in touch, as you said, for the last 5 years. And the journey with Snaptrude has been pretty phenomenal as well. It all started like during my undergrad when like I was working on an ambitious project, government sponsored, to recreate a cultural heritage site of Hampi in Trivandrum, like very close from Bangalore over here. And that was supposed to be replicated throughout the country. And it was during this time I started first interacting with architects. Realized that the entire work process is very archaic in nature. Most of the tools were built in 90s, it's very siloed, and 80% of their time is not going into the thing that matters the most, how to design better buildings. I thought as a technologist from a computer graphics background, I could solve some of these problems and started building plugins to existing softwares, SketchUp, Revit, etc. And it was during that time that when we wanted to transition out of plugins into building a design tool on the web, that's when I met Bobby. I still remember that meeting. It was a very long conversation about what the vision of the company is, what we want to do, taking on Autodesk or AutoCAD, which has been entrenched into the ecosystem. And the conclusion of the call was, like the discussion was, Bobby said, like, I want to invest. I hadn't even figured out that if I want to raise money, what to raise, what not to raise. Like, just I want to invest because I want to be part of the journey.
Just imagine a boy just coming out of college, walks up comes to my office and pitches this idea. And I say, what's your background? He says, I just finished my engineering and you're just working with some architects. But he had this idea, and I'm building a product out of India. That was something that really blew me off, and I thought, okay, I need to bet on this guy and see where he goes.
Okay, Bobby, I want to start with you now. You've been investing in a lot of companies, and to bet on him on an idea stage, especially in a system which is so old, like you said, they're all legacy-oriented software. Let's set that in context. What was the problem with the software? What was happening with Autodesk? Let me name them. Autodesk and all the other products that were out there. Right? What was the problem with legacy software, and what did he have that was so novel that he wanted to invest in?
No, the thing was it was very collaborative, and the thing that it was on the web. See, all these guys are the legacy guys who are already there. They're like monopolies. They won't let others come in. There's not much of innovation in that thing. So I realized that, and real estate industry itself has not got any technology disruption for a long time, for the longest period that I've been in it. So I thought, okay, hey, this guy's come and let's see where he goes. I was clueless as to where this product would end, and we didn't even realize that we'll be sitting here today when we started. But I knew that this guy will land somewhere. He was passionate about it, the way he came across. So I just thought, okay, let me take the bet.
Okay. Not many people would know this, but it takes about 3 days to design something and give it to a builder or developer. But with Snaptrude, you can do it in 90 minutes,
just
right?
The concept would take minimum 3 to...
Just the concept would take 3 days.
Yeah.
So explain this whole process. Break down the supply chain and how would an architect work with a builder, how would a developer work with an architect. And why does it take so long, and why is Snaptrude that good? It takes 90 minutes, and therefore going to market would be faster, or delivering a project would be faster. Talk about that, please.
Absolutely. So generally construction is one of the largest industries in the world. There is no dearth of capital, but the process of going from, say, the early design to construction is a very long, complex journey. And it can, and like any other design, it's highly iterative in nature. Like as video recording is, you would take takes and keep editing, iterating over it, or any kind of a design. And here in architecture as well, it's a very iterative process. And during those iterations, there's no support system from these tools to tell them, is this design decision which you have taken, is it better or worse objectively with data? That is not possible. How do you take feedback on each of these design decisions, say from a contractor, from a developer, from a consultant who's sitting, say, thousands of miles across? Say if you're doing a design out of an office in New York, but doing a building, say, in India or China, how would you collaborate with all of these stakeholders? There's no better way to do that, and no better way to do it in an objective manner. What Snaptrude does is not just tries to compete with an Autodesk or rebuild that entire ecosystem. We are reimagining how design to construction can be more done in a better way, so people are building better buildings. Better buildings in the sense more efficient buildings, which utilize the space very well. More budget-friendly buildings for affordable housing, especially at a time when we are going through a housing crisis. And also more sustainable buildings, especially again in a time where construction is the second largest contributors to the climate crisis which we are facing. How do you bring this about in that journey is what we are trying to do. So every time you do a design change, be it from changing the position of one door from one place to another place, you would want to know how much more it's going to cost. For a developer, whether it is compliant to local regulations or not. You don't want to say again spend 2 months and realize all the design changes we did don't add up. So we are back to square one. All of this unproductivity is something which we have eliminated. And again add sustainability data. You make a wall change from one place to another place. How would it react to the surroundings? How is the sun moving around the building? Where is the sun coming inside the building? All of this would allow you to not just reduce the construction cost, but also maintenance of the building, where you can reduce AC cost, where you can reduce electrical bills by letting daylight in. All of these parameters is what we are focusing, and very recently, as we were mentioning, one of the design teams that uses Snaptrude very profusely, they used to take 3 days to submit first design proposal, and they've gone from that to flat 90 minutes. So that's the amount of productivity gain that we are showing, and then on top of that, allowing them to collaborate as well as build better designs using data.
Okay, when you say collaboration, I think it's the democratic nature of cloud software,
Yes.
which is what enables people to scale up on ideas, which basically means I can be an architect, I can share designs with my builder, and the builder can have his people collaborate at the same time, right? That also means, I want to bring in the business aspect, Bobby, you can also step in. The costing of enterprise software is always about, say $10,000 per user, right? You being democratic, collaborative, would you be, I don't want to use this word cheaper, would you be as competitive as the legacy guys? Because the legacy guys will now try to innovate now that you built this, they'll try to innovate also. So in terms of the pricing, how efficient is this product? How does it work? It's per license, per user. And why is it impactful in terms of a cost perspective?
Yeah, so we wanted to democratize design because you see most of the buildings, even in the US there is a survey which says that 98% of homes are not designed by architects. Doesn't mean that they're extremely well designed, they don't need an architect, it's just that the price point doesn't work out for an architect to be hired over there. How do you then make those 98% buildings better designed? By using technology. And that's where we wanted to be competitively priced. So architects can, in their productivity problem which exists, can even take projects which will democratize good design, good sustainable design for the masses. And that's the reason why we have tried taking a competitive price, but also we are going up market as well to add a lot more features for your enterprise people so that they enjoy the entire suite of capabilities while there is an entry level price to democratize the access of good design for everyone in the world.
Okay. They should come to Snaptrude because of the cheap pricing and great features, or why should they come to you? Why should they come to you over an Autodesk, for example?
To design better buildings.
To design better
buildings faster. Exactly.
Okay, what else?
That's the main point which we say. You can use data which nobody else today gives you, takes weeks together to gather. We give you collaborations, you can collaborate even with the customer, like forget developers. You as a homeowner would want to be involved in your design process because most of the time you'll build a home once in your life. And you want to be opinionated of what design changes are happening with an architect. Today that happens over text messages, WhatsApp or email. We are enabling this in a live 3D environment where you can actually voice your opinion, take that time, design together with an architect and even see the objective changes. Like you will immediately know how much more it's going to cost, whether it fits your pocket or not. All of these things are just not possible today. And that's what we are enabling at a competitive price for the entry level people.
You know what I like? I mean, as a creator, I use Figma and I think it's very democratic.
Yes.
Right? Would you say you're a Figma of the architecture world?
That's
Would it be fair to say?
That's exactly how we portray it. We are the Figma for the design construction industry.
Okay, quickly. Bobby, when a boy walks into your office, I don't know how he discovered you. And he says, I've got this idea. And you have thousands of people coming to your office every day like that.
Yeah,
How do you know that this works?
Nothing, it was just the passion I saw in Altaf, and like I said, he will land somewhere. And I mean, I just thought I should give him the chance, to kind of take it from there. And then he proved himself. See, more than that, what I want to say about to all founders and to other people in the startup industry is not only the passion. A lot of people have the passion. He's very process oriented. How he keeps in touch with all the investors, keeps them updated. Many a time I've seen with a lot of other investments that they just take the money and then there's no connect. They don't respond. They don't kind of give regular updates as to what the product is doing or where they are landing. So, but Altaf kept people informed of the progress. He used to interact with the investors regularly. So you still feel involved with the company, with the product, and more so with him. So I think that was the connect that showed that he's really an upright and a founder who would kind of go places.
Okay, you went with the transparency and the fact that he's been around with you for a long time now. I want to know, when you're building a product, right? How, when you go to a builder and you talk about a product, they're so used to services and not technology. How convinced were you that this would work? It's taken you, a good 5-6 years to get there, and now investors are coming and saying, we'd like to invest in Snaptrude,
right.
and you will see some announcements soon, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted your thoughts on how difficult was it to conquer the local market. You can also add Altaf. I wanted to pick his thoughts. How tough was it for you? It
is tough, not for most of for him. It is tough, but I realize that he's handling a real problem. As a builder, any design I give to an architect, I'm clueless as to what the work in progress is. Till he comes up and he presents something to me, and that will be totally out of context in what I've actually given him as a brief, right? He comes up with a concept that I've told him that this should be in this format, but he's done something else using his own thoughts, and I don't know that during that journey what he's been doing. So again, we have a meeting and then it goes back and then you have another.
And the iteration would be lost.
And I don't know, after 3 iterations, I don't know where the first iteration was. So in this collaborative thing, real time, we know where was the first cut, where are we now today, and where are we going to end. So it's very clear, and I feel I have a control over the project and to what I think, from the developer's perspective.
Okay. You have a lot of Indian users or Indian real estate companies. What is the feedback? But the first few years must have been nuclear winter for you.
No, we knew that. We knew what we signed up for. And we have seen it even in the past when Autodesk was building their products. It took them 7 years and hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes. And I guess you also know about Onshape. $180 million, I guess 6-7 years of, and that was coming from a SolidWorks founder. We knew that it's going to take time, but what we wanted to do is be as close as possible to the customers without all the media frenzy, etc. Be grounded, work with customers, and I'll tell you what we did. When the product was to a level where it can be used somewhere, we started hiring architects who are doing their own projects and said, you do those projects on Snaptrude and we'll pay you per hour. Just give us the recordings. And those recordings, we studied every user interaction that we could improve on. And all of these feedback went into the product in terms of developing it. And the requirement has always been there. So people, you talk to any architectural firm, they've been frustrated with Autodesk. Be it India, be it globally. In fact, globally it's so bad, they wrote an open letter to Autodesk in 2020 saying that they have not innovated and the problems have been existed. And India, you talk to any architect, they'll say AutoCAD is the worst part of their journey in terms of the design. So market is there.
I agree. I think there's a chance that the legacy players should innovate and they should work with startups like you. I want to talk about you as a person in 2017 and now. You came from an engineering background, but you didn't end up being a nerd. You ended up becoming a businessman. How did that transformation happen?
I think it's just about when you are thrown into the woods. Initially for me, doing this product was the saying, right? The fool didn't know it was impossible, so he did it anyways. So it was being thrown into the waters, you just figure it out how, and that's how entrepreneurship is. And you acquire those skills because you either die or you survive with those skills that you have learned. And that's what has happened in the last 5 years. And with support of investors like Bobby and other people who are involved, I think this is the support system that needs to be built for founders. You have a cushion to absorb all the learnings which have already been there. And as an ecosystem, startup ecosystem, you have matured enough now that other people are able to pass on these learnings of obvious mistakes not to commit. And I think that helps a lot.
Okay, and I heard you're moving abroad. So you're going to the US for sales. So we wish you all the best there. And Bobby, for you, what is closure? Happy with, you're like the coach in the movie Rocky, right? You're standing in the background. How difficult has it been for you to get into this level? Or, I mean, I would say you complement each other. What next for you from here?
It's been absolutely a pleasure supporting Altaf. I mean, he doesn't need much support. It's just some moral this thing and emotional this thing that I've been giving him. Otherwise, he's been exemplary as a founder. I mean, I should think that the founders in India should take a cue from Altaf and see that, that's a big learning. That what I tell in every place that I'm called to speak, I talk about Altaf. Not because of the far greater products, far greater companies, but the way he goes about things and where and the challenge of trying to build a product out of India is humongous, and I think he will reach.
Okay. Altaf, you're young. I can't ask you the secret guide to happiness, but what keeps you busy now, and what keeps you happy apart from Snaptrude?
I think just you're so married to the company, there's hardly anything that you think outside of. Like, it's basically just either sleep or think about it. I think just being with the team, I still enjoy a lot of product because we are a product first company, and moving into sales, understanding the people's cues of what is exciting them, what is still to be improved. I think this entire journey is what I tend to appreciate. It's not about reaching a goal. It's about enjoying every minute of the journey which you're being part of. And we just were on a retreat in Goa with the entire team. Because of remote, we were not able to meet very often. This was such a refreshing thing to know each one of them so much better, especially the people who have joined during the COVID times. And I think these are the things which make you happy, the journey.
How big is your team?
It's 21 people right now.
Okay, and shout out to your family support.
Oh, great. I want to talk a little about, he's got a lovely family. His wife is a lovely girl. I met her, and she's also going to be a startup founder, and she's working on
an idea.
An idea, and very supportive to him.
I think without family, I don't think you can't start up.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the support system that has to be there.
Truly a middle class dream, I would say. When he reaches.
No wonder you're going to Europe, you're going to US. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, they are available. They're a cloud-based software, so do check out Snaptrude. We'll leave the website and the app at the description. Go check them out. Thank you so much, Altaf. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you. Lovely pleasure meeting you. And all the best to Upstream Life, and hope you will reach one of the top podcasting companies.
Thank you so much. That's the bet in India. We're all trying to make it in India. Let's do this in India.
Absolutely.
And this is a Make in India product, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.